Hello and welcome to Bible Study with Steve Kalis. I really appreciate your support with this so far, and I want to make things absolutely clear before we carry on down this path. I'm not a Bible scholar. I'm reading through the Bible to try and understand what it is, and I'm extracting information from the Bible based on the information in the Bible. There's lots of Christian and rabbinic, and there's lots of schools of thought surrounding each and every line of the Bible, which I totally understand. But for now, we will dive into those things. But for now, I just want to explore what the Bible is, what it means to me, if anything, and learn about it. I love the Bible. I want to learn. I want to learn about what it is. I want you and me to sit here, relax, and take a few minutes to read from the Bible and try and figure out what it means to us. If you have any thoughts on what we do here, something I need to read or understand more about the passages that we dive into, then please reach out here on Spotify in the comments or on Instagram at The Steve Kalis Show. I really want this to be an open dialogue between me and you. I really like the idea that you and I are learning the Bible together and reading through it together. So please reach out. I really want to know what your thoughts are. Now, without any further ado, let's get into, about to start actually, the story of Abram or Abraham. We're starting with the call of Abram in Genesis. So Abraham, as far as I know, is considered one of the three patriarchs of, I guess, Judaism and Christianity. Abraham and his son Isaac and his son Jacob, they are the sort of founding fathers of Israel, I suppose. And Abraham's story is a story of God compelling him to leave his father's lands in order to set the scene or settle Israel, or begin what Israel or sow the seeds for Israel will be. Does that make sense? It might not. It might not even be true. But we're going to read through it and we'll learn together just what is happening. I'm very familiar with this story now. I've read it a lot over the last few weeks, just trying to absorb it. But we're going to go through it passage by passage and see what we think. Okay? Are you okay over there listening to this? Are you happy? Are you comfortable? Get yourself in a cozy position and let's dive into this thing together. My name's Steve Kalis, by the way, and I really appreciate you being here and listening to me waffle about this and listening to me read the Bible. So thank you. Let's go. The call of Abram. The Lord said to Abram, "Go from your country, your people and your father's household to the land I will show you. I will make you into a great nation, and I will bless you. I will make your name great, and you will be a blessing. I will bless those who bless you, and whoever curses you, I will curse. And all the people on earth will be blessed through you." So this is a powerful covenant between God and Abram, similar to the covenant that we've seen God make with Noah. And I wonder what if the relevancy of Cain's curse will be here. I mean, is the line of Cain still cursed? Is humanity still cursed as a result of Eve's indiscretion and in Cain's murder of Abel? I don't know. So these are just some questions as we go forth. So God has said to Abram, "Leave this place, leave your father's lands, and go to this place. It's important that you go here, and more will be revealed. And in return for you going on this adventure, I will protect you." And later on he says, "I will be your great shield." So Abram at this point is in good with the Lord. So let's carry on. So Abram went as the Lord had told him, and Lot went with him. Abram was 75 years old when he set out from Haran. He took his wife Sarai, his nephew Lot, all the possessions they had accumulated and the people they had acquired in Haran, and they set out for the land of Canaan, and they arrived there. Canaan, I think, is the land that will be known as Israel. Okay, so I think Canaan is that area. Abram traveled through the land as far as the site of the great tree of Moreh at Shechem. Don't you think Shechem sounds a little bit more of the times? I'm not sure. At that time, the Canaanites were in the land. The Lord appeared to Abram and said, "To your offspring I will give this land," meaning Canaan. So he built an altar there to the Lord. That's Abram. So the Lord says to Abram, "This land you found yourselves in, I will give this to you and your descendants." And as a result, Abram builds there an altar there to the Lord in gratitude. From there, Abram went on towards the hills east of Bethel and pitched his tent, with Bethel on the west and Ai, or I, or A, it's just spelled Ai, on the east. There he built an altar to the Lord and called on the name of the Lord. Then Abram set out and continued towards the Negev. Okay, and the story gets really interesting here because I'm not sure of the implication of why Abram essentially... Abram is a complicated character. He is tested in some extreme ways by the Lord, as you see later on in this story. I'll just read this passage and we'll see what we think of it afterwards. This chapter is called Abram in Egypt. Now there was a famine in the land, and Abram went down to Egypt to live there for a while because the famine was severe. As he was about to enter Egypt, he said to his wife Sarai, "I know what a beautiful woman you are. When the Egyptians see you, they will say, 'This is his wife.' They will then kill me, but will let you live. So say you are my sister, so that I will be treated well for your sake, and my life will be spared because of you." When Abram came to Egypt, the Egyptians saw that Sarai was a very beautiful woman. And when Pharaoh's officials saw her, they praised her to Pharaoh, and she was taken into his palace. He treated Abram well for her sake, because he thinks Abram is her brother, which he is, in a biblical way. And Abram acquired sheep and cattle, male and female donkeys, male and female servants, and camels. So Abram acquires this incredible wealth because he has asked his wife to lie to save his own skin. So Sarai has to pretend to be his sister because the Pharaoh, and he understands that people in high office will appreciate her beauty and covet her. But there's a twist, and this really backfires on the Pharaoh. But the Lord inflicted serious diseases on Pharaoh and his household because of Abram's wife Sarai. So Pharaoh summoned Abram. "What have you done to me?" he said. "Why didn't you tell me she was your wife? Why did you say she is my sister so that I took her to be my wife? Now then, here is your wife. Take her and go." Then Pharaoh gave orders about Abram to his men, and they sent him on his way with his wife and everything that he had. So Abram's situation is now he's got his wife back. He's got this incredible wealth that he sort of scammed from the Pharaoh. Okay, and now we see what happens. They've left Egypt, and this is where we are in the story. This chapter is called Abram and Lot Separate, and this is important. This sets the scene for the next few chapters and some conflict. So Abram went up from Egypt to the Negev with his wife and everything he had, and Lot, his nephew, went with him. Abram had become very wealthy in livestock and in silver and gold. From the Negev, he went from place to place until he came to Bethel, to the place between Bethel and Ai, where I'm going to mess that up every time I say it. I'm just going to say I from now on, okay? Where his tent had been earlier, and where he had first built an altar. There, Abram called on the name of the Lord. Now Lot, who was moving about with Abram, also had flocks and herds and tents, but the land could not support them both while they stayed together, for their possessions were so great that they were not able to stay together. And quarreling arose between Abram's herdsmen and Lot's. The Canaanites and Perizzites were also living in the land at that time. So Abram said to Lot, "Let's not have any quarreling between you and me, or between your herdsmen and mine, for we are close relatives. Is not the whole land before you? Let's part company. If you go to the left, I'll go to the right, and if you go to the right, I'll go to the left." Lot looked around and saw that the whole plain of the Jordan towards Zoar was well watered, like the garden of the Lord, like the land of Egypt. This was before the Lord destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah, which is a very dark story, but coming too soon. So Lot chose for himself the whole plain of the Jordan and set out towards the east. The two men parted company. Abram lived in the land of Canaan, soon to be Israel, while Lot lived among the cities of the plain and pitched his tents near Sodom. Now the people of Sodom were wicked and were sinning greatly against the Lord. The Lord said to Abram after Lot had parted from him, "Look around where you are, to the north and south, to the east and west. All the land that you see I will give to you and your offspring forever. I will make your offspring like the dust of the earth, so that if anyone could count the dust, then your offspring could be counted. Go, walk through the length and breadth of the land, for I am giving it to you." So Abram went to live near the great trees of Mamre at Hebron, where he pitched his tents, and there he built an altar to the Lord. Okay, so this is the beginning of the story of Abraham, and I'm paying particular attention to it and going through it line by line because he's such a pivotal part of all major religions, and I just want to understand why that is. There's a question of whether Abraham was real, and to be honest, as far as I can see, there's literally no evidence of this. But I wouldn't be surprised if there was an Abraham figure that was real. Does that make sense? Because there's so much modern revelation on the Bible that has shown key sites to be real or key people to be real. That wouldn't surprise me at all that later Abraham, was a real man. So what we're going to do next episode is continue to explore this, but we learn a little bit more about Lot. We go into, I believe, Sodom and Gomorrah. There's a conflict first between the kings of the land at this time that Abram's found himself in, and the result of that conflict is that Lot gets sort of kidnapped and Abraham rescues him, and Abraham's sort of fame and influence and wealth increases at this point, but we'll get to that. It's an interesting story. What are your thoughts on the story so far, or Abraham's story in general? What does it mean to you, and can you explain why it's so important to these faiths and what the relevancy of it is? I mean, I sort of understand now. I'm getting my head around these different faiths and religions and the key part Abraham plays, but I want to open up a dialogue about it and see what your opinion is. I hope that you enjoyed listening to that. The Abraham story goes on for a while. There'll be a fair few episodes about this and we go through it together, but I'm on limited time today, which is why we're just going to keep this to just the sort of 10-minute mark or whatever it is. Thank you for listening. I really appreciate it. I wish I had more time to explore this. Maybe what I'll do next week is talk about, continue with the story and then get some ideas of what scholars make of this story so we can discuss it a bit more. Would you like that? If that's the case, then just let me know. I'm learning about the Bible, but I want you to have a say here so we can explore this thing together and explore ideas together. If there's something that you want me to explore or look into, then I 100% will. Just let me know. So thank you. This has been Bible Study with Steve Kalis. I really, really appreciate it, and I hope that you join us next week. Thank you.